Imagine receiving a promise that can completely transform your life, something that comes straight from God's heart to yours. Does it seem far-fetched? The truth is that this promise is accessible to everyone, but few realize its true power. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have unshakable faith, unshakable trust, while others are trapped in a cycle of despair and doubt? There is an answer, and it lies in God's promise that if you seek God with all your heart, you will find Him. But here's a challenge. Do you really believe that? Are you willing to experience this intense search and discover what may be missing in your life? Perhaps all you need to unlock a new reality of hope, wisdom, and strength lies in this active search for God. Stay with me and discover how this can impact your life right now. Throughout life, many people wonder where to find hope and wisdom amidst daily uncertainties. The answer, curiously, lies in something we may have forgotten: God's divine promise. In Jeremiah 29, verse 13, we find a powerful statement. "You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart." This is not just a word of comfort. It is a guarantee. God, in His infinite wisdom, invites us to this constant search, offering not only answers, but His very presence. When someone decides to seek God with a sincere heart, He will never be ignored. It is a certainty. This search, however, requires more than a superficial intention. The word heart here makes all the difference. When we speak of seeking God with all our heart, we are talking about a real commitment, where faith and trust are the main guides on this journey. For many, this begins with small daily acts: a prayer upon waking, a moment of silence during lunch, or even a simple thank you at the end of the day. These gestures, although simple, open doors to something much greater. When the heart is truly focused on this promise, change begins to manifest itself in all aspects of life. A practical example of this search can be seen in people who decide to read the Bible regularly, seeking advice in it for difficult times. Imagine someone facing a big decision at work. By opening the scriptures and meditating on what they read, this individual can find peace and confidence in their choices. God's wisdom is accessible to all who seek Him, and this is where Jeremiah's promise is fulfilled. God reveals Himself, transforms and illuminates the path of those who seek Him. This is the beauty of the promise. It does not end here. It leads us to something even greater, which involves dedication and action. Seeking God requires more than just desire. It is an intentional action, a conscious decision that shapes one's routine and heart. Many believe that all one has to do is wait for divine answers, but the truth is that this search needs to be proactive. It requires effort, dedication, and above all, complete surrender. God is not found by chance. He is discovered by those who, with faith and hope, decide to make room in their lives to hear His voice. To do this, it is necessary to put aside daily distractions and make the search for wisdom a priority. A clear example of this is when someone decides to set aside a moment in the day to dedicate themselves to prayer, even in the midst of a rush. It can be in the morning, right after waking up, or at night, before going to sleep. The intention is clear: to create a habit of intimacy with God. This practice can start with just a few minutes a day, but over time, the space expands, as does the perception of the divine presence in every detail of life. Wisdom is not something that comes all at once. It is cultivated as the search becomes more sincere and consistent. Faith is also essential on this journey. The search for God is a path that sometimes seems silent, but the certainty that He is always present is what keeps us persevering. When someone actively searches, like a runner who doesn't stop until he or she reaches the finish line, he or she develops unshakable confidence. It is on this journey that transformation happens. But this active search prepares us for something even greater: the reward that comes from finding God. And this reward is much more than answers. It is peace in His presence in our daily lives. When someone surrenders to the search for God, the rewards go beyond what one can imagine. It is not just about answers to immediate questions, but about a deeper relationship with the Creator. Those who seek God with all their heart find a peace that surpasses understanding, even in turbulent times. This peace, the fruit of faith, becomes a foundation in moments of uncertainty. When everything seems chaotic, it is this trust in God that brings balance. Hope blossoms, divine wisdom guides, and life begins to have a clearer meaning. Spiritual rewards are not tangible like a physical prize, but are perceived in the small daily changes. Think of those who, when faced with great challenges, find the strength to move forward, even when everything seems conspiring against them. This strength does not come from personal abilities, but from the presence of God in the life of those who seek Him. Faith, in turn, is strengthened with each obstacle overcome. It is as if, with each new difficulty, trust in God solidifies, becoming a shield against life's adversities. But that's not all. Seeking God completely transforms the way you see the world and others. Suddenly, your problem seems small when compared to the greatness of God. Hope grows and life becomes full of meaning. Despair is replaced by a quiet confidence, a certainty that no matter what happens, God is there. And this reward is eternal, a living promise that lights the way. But this journey does not happen alone. Great biblical examples show us the power of faith in seeking God. Throughout the Bible, we are presented with stories of men and women who sought God with all their faith and determination. Abraham, for example, is a living example of someone who trusted in the divine plan. Even when the promises seemed distant, he left everything behind, following only the voice of God, and this search led him to become the father of many nations. His example teaches us that when we truly seek God, He guides us to a destiny greater than we could ever imagine. Abraham's trust and hope are inspiration for anyone seeking an intimate relationship with the Creator. Another extraordinary example is that of Moses, who, even in the midst of countless difficulties, did not give up on his search for God. From the encounter with the burning bush to leading the people of Israel through the desert, Moses showed how unwavering faith can guide a life. He stood firm, listening to God's voice and obeying, even when the task seemed impossible. This type of search does not happen overnight, but is built step by step as divine wisdom illuminates the path. Just like Moses, anyone can seek God with all their heart and find wisdom to face life's challenges. David, with all his humanity and flaws, also teaches us about this constant search. Even in the midst of his falls and weaknesses, he never stopped seeking God. His Psalms are proof of his thirst for a deeper relationship with the Lord, always asking for forgiveness, guidance, and wisdom. David shows us that the search for God does not require perfection, but a sincere heart. And like him, anyone can draw closer to God, seeking a deeper relationship daily. And this search, often initiated by prayer, leads us to find divine answers. Prayer is a powerful and essential tool for those who wish to seek God in a sincere and profound way. It is not just a ritual, but an intimate dialogue between the human being and the Creator. When one prays, a door is open to the presence of God, allowing faith and trust to flourish. Prayer does not need to be elaborate. It can be simple and honest, like a conversation between friends. By praying, one can ask for wisdom to face the challenges of everyday life, strengthen faith in times of uncertainty, and renew hope when things seem to be falling apart. The act of prayer brings with it a silent but powerful transformation. It is during prayer that many find the answers they so seek. By surrendering their worries, fears, and insecurities to God, the heart opens to receive peace and trust. A practical example is to start each day with a simple prayer, thanking God for life and asking for guidance for the decisions that will be made. Often, it is in the stillness of these moments that the answers arise and the path becomes clearer. Seeking God through prayer is like adjusting the focus of the mind and spirit to hear divine wisdom. When cultivating a life of prayer, it is important to ask not only for blessings, but also for inner transformation. It is through prayer that spiritual barriers are removed, distractions are silenced, and divine strength becomes evident. Those who pray regularly notice a change in the way they face challenges, with greater serenity and confidence. Prayer is a powerful weapon against the forces that try to divert us from God's purpose. But this journey does not have to be solitary. It is in community that prayer becomes even stronger. Now that you have discovered this powerful truth, what will you do with this knowledge? God's promise is waiting to be lived, but it requires action. Are you willing to seek God with all your heart, trust in His wisdom, and allow Him to transform your life? The answer cannot be put off until later. What is stopping you from living with more faith and hope today? Think. Is it time to break away from distractions, leave doubts behind, and finally live the fullness of this divine promise? The transformation begins now, and it is up to you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue learning about faith, trust in God, and how to live a life full of wisdom and purpose. Don't put off until tomorrow what God is preparing for you today. Let's walk together